Welcome back to the channel. Summer is often the season when we hope life will slow down a little, but busy schedules, daily routines, and household clutter can sometimes get in the way. In this video, I'm sharing 14 simple slow living ideas designed to help create a lighter, more comfortable home for summer. These are all small, practical changes that can help your home work better, stay more organized, and support a more relaxed daily rhythm throughout the season. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's explore some simple ways to bring more slow living into your home this summer. When we think about slow living, it often starts with something very simple: how we enter and leave our home each day. The entryway sets the tone. If it's cluttered or busy, the day begins with a sense of rush, but when it's clear and thoughtfully arranged, it creates a pause between the outside world and home. This summer, try removing anything that isn't used daily. Keep only a few essentials, perhaps a pretty tray, a place for keys, and a light, seasonal touch like a woven basket or a simple floral arrangement. If you have space, add a chair or bench that offers a moment to sit, take off your shoes, or simply pause before moving on. Slow living isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about creating small, supportive moments throughout the day. And this is where it begins, right at the door. One of the simplest ways to support slow living at home is to make everyday movement easier. In the summer, we move in and out of the backyard more than at any other time of year. But when that space near the door is cluttered or unclear, it can interrupt the natural rhythm of the day. Creating a small transition zone by your patio or back door can make a noticeable difference. This can be very simple: a clean mat, a spot for shoes, and a basket or hook for the things you carry outside, like a sun hat or gardening gloves. The goal is to give these everyday items a place so nothing feels scattered or in the way. If space allows, a small bench or stool can make coming and going more comfortable and relaxed. When this area is set up with intention, moving between indoors and outdoors becomes smooth and effortless. And that's a key part of slow living, removing small points of friction so your day can unfold in a more natural, steady way. Slow living begins with simplicity. Not empty spaces, but spaces that are clear enough to support how you want to spend your time. In the summer, the living room tends to shift. It becomes a place for quiet moments, casual conversations, or simply sitting with the windows open at the end of the day. But when surfaces are crowded or overstyled, it can be harder to settle in and relax. Remove the pieces that make the room feel crowded or overfilled. Then leave space for a few things that support everyday living, like warm lighting, a favorite book, a simple ceramic vase, or a candle on the coffee table. If you can, keep seating areas easy to move through, with nothing blocking the natural flow of the room. This kind of simplicity creates room for everyday life to unfold without distraction. And that's an important part of slow living, making space for rest, conversation, and quiet moments without needing to adjust the room first. A big part of slow living is creating spaces that are meant to be used, not just admired. And the coffee table is a perfect example of that. In many homes, this surface slowly becomes crowded with decorative pieces, stacks of items, or things that don't really serve a purpose in everyday life. But especially in the summer, it helps to keep this space lighter and more flexible. Leave only a few simple pieces that support how you actually use the room: a candle, a vase of flowers, a book you're currently reading, or a decorative box that keeps essentials contained and out of sight. The goal isn't to make the table empty. It's to create enough open space that the room can shift naturally throughout the day. A clear coffee table leaves room for morning coffee, relaxed conversation, or an easy evening at home without needing to rearrange everything first. And that's one of the quieter lessons of slow living, making your home ready to support real life as it happens. One of the most helpful ideas behind slow living is making everyday comfort easier to reach. And sometimes, that starts with the smallest surfaces in the room. Side tables support so many daily routines, but when they become overcrowded or overstyled, they stop being as useful as they could be. Instead, keep only a few practical pieces on your side table. A lamp for softer evening lighting, a coaster for coffee or tea, a book you're currently reading, or a small tray for glasses or remote controls is often all you need. Leaving a little open space on the table also makes the room easier to use throughout the day. The goal isn't to create a perfectly styled surface. It's to create a space that works naturally with your routines and supports a more relaxed pace at home. And that's an important part of slow living, making daily life simpler, more comfortable, and easier to move through. A meaningful part of slow living is learning to begin the day at a steadier pace. And a simple morning coffee corner can help create that transition. This doesn't need to be a large space or a perfectly styled setup. A section of the kitchen counter, a console table, or a corner near a window can become part of a slower morning routine. Keep only the essentials in this space: a coffee maker, a favorite mug, a container for coffee or tea, and perhaps a simple vase with a few fresh flowers. The goal is to make the first moments of the day feel easier and less rushed. Natural light, open counter space, and fewer visual distractions can completely change the atmosphere of a morning routine. And that's one of the simplest lessons of slow living, creating small, daily rituals that help the day begin with more intention and less urgency. One of the more practical parts of slow living is creating spaces that are ready to use without extra prep work. And the dining table is a perfect place to start. In the summer, meals often happen more casually. A quick lunch, coffee with a friend, or dinner after time outdoors becomes much easier when the table is already mostly clear and ready to use. Instead of heavy centerpieces or too many layered decorations, try keeping the table simple and functional. A linen runner or tablecloth, a small vase of flowers, or a bowl of fresh fruit make the space welcoming while still leaving room for everyday life. It also helps to keep chairs easy to move and pathways open around the table so the room feels comfortable and relaxed. Slow living isn't about making a home look perfect all the time. It's about creating spaces that support connection, conversation, and daily routines with less effort and more ease. One of the most helpful ideas behind slow living is creating space for everyday life to happen more easily. And in the kitchen, that begins with the counters. When countertops become crowded with appliances, papers, or too many decorative items, even simple daily tasks can start to feel more overwhelming than they need to be. Creating more open counter space immediately changes how the kitchen functions. First, remove anything that isn't used regularly and group everyday essentials together instead of spreading them across multiple surfaces. Then create clear preparation areas near the stove and sink to help meals and cleanup become simpler and more efficient. A bowl of fresh fruit or a vase of flowers with greenery is enough styling for the season while still leaving the counters usable. Slow living isn't about having empty kitchen counters. It's about creating a space that supports a steadier pace, with less visual distraction and more room to move comfortably through the day. One of the best parts of summer is having friends and family drop by for a quick visit. And having a simple drink station already set up can make those moments much easier. Instead of pulling everything together at the last minute, try creating one small area with the basics already in place. This could be a tray on the kitchen counter, part of a sideboard, or a small cart with glasses, napkins, and coffee or tea supplies nearby. You can also prep a few things ahead of time in the refrigerator, like a pitcher of cold water, sliced lemons or limes in a covered bowl, or iced tea ready to pour when needed. The goal is simply to make summer hosting easier, less rushed, and more enjoyable. When the essentials are already organized, the kitchen stays more manageable, and gathering with people becomes more relaxed. And that's a big part of slow living, creating simple systems at home that support connection without adding extra work. One of the easiest ways to support slow living at home is to simplify the spaces that get used often but rarely get much attention. And the powder room is a perfect example. Because it's usually a smaller space, Even a little clutter can quickly make the room look crowded and harder to clean. Start by clearing the counters and keeping only a few essentials visible, like hand soap, a hand towel, and a simple empty tray that leaves space for guests to set something down if needed. If your powder room is small, adding a shelf above the toilet or along an open wall can also help keep extra supplies off the counter while still making the room look organized and welcoming. A softly scented candle can add warmth to the space without needing a lot of extra decor. The goal is to keep the room open, functional, and easy to maintain throughout the summer. And that's part of slow living too, creating spaces that work well every day without requiring constant attention or upkeep. One of the most important parts of slow living is having a bedroom that helps you unwind at the end of the day. And during the summer, small changes in the room can make a big difference. Bedrooms tend to collect extra things over time, like clothing draped over chairs, too many pillows on the bed, crowded nightstands, or surfaces that slowly fill up with everyday items. When the room becomes visually busy, it's harder to fully settle in and relax at night. A good place to start is by simplifying what's visible. Reduce extra bedding layers for the warmer season. Clear unnecessary items from dressers and nightstands, and leave a little more open space around the bed if possible. Lightweight linens, softer lighting, and natural textures can also help the room feel lighter and more comfortable during the summer months. Even small changes, like making the bed each morning or keeping pathways open, can completely change the atmosphere of the room. Slow living often comes down to creating a home that supports rest and gives the mind a little less to process at the end of the day. Summer is all about spending more time outside, and creating a simple patio setup can make those everyday moments much easier to enjoy. This doesn't need to be a large outdoor space or a fully decorated patio. Even a small seating area with comfortable chairs and a place to set down a drink can completely change how often the space gets used. The key is to focus on comfort first. Outdoor cushions, softer lighting, and a small side table usually go much further than filling the space with too many accessories or seasonal decor. It also helps to leave open space between furniture pieces so the patio is easier to access and a more relaxing place to sit in. A lantern, a planter with flowers, and a lightweight throw for cooler evenings is enough to make the space feel welcoming without adding extra work. Slow living during the summer comes down to making simple spaces more usable. Because when the patio is already set up and ready to enjoy, it's much easier to step outside, slow down for a little while, and spend more time with the people and pets you love. One of the ways to support slow living at home is to make everyday routines work well for everyone in the house, including pets. And during the summer, that means paying attention to how pets move through the home alongside daily activities. Pet beds, feeding stations, toys, leashes, and water bowls can quickly start to interrupt walkways or make rooms feel more crowded than they need to be. A few small adjustments can make the entire home function more smoothly. Keep pet essentials gathered together in one area instead of spread throughout multiple rooms. Baskets, covered containers, or furniture with storage can help keep things organized while still easy to access every day. It also helps to leave clear walking paths between furniture pieces so both people and pets can move comfortably through the home. Washable rugs, durable fabrics, and lighter summer bedding can make everyday cleanup easier during the warmer months too. The goal isn't to hide the fact that pets live in the home. It's simply creating spaces that support daily life a little more comfortably so the home stays accessible, organized, and easier to maintain through the season. One of the best ways to incorporate slow living into your life is to take a few minutes at the end of the day to reset your home. And during the summer, this routine can stay very simple. It doesn't need to be a deep clean or a long checklist before bed. A few small habits will help keep the home tidy and more organized, making it easier to enjoy the next day. You might fluff the sofa cushions, clear a few dishes from the kitchen, fold a blanket, wipe down the counters, or place things back where they belong before heading to bed. It also helps to prepare one or two things for the morning ahead, like setting out coffee mugs, refilling a pet water bowl, or opening the curtains slightly for early daylight. These small resets only take a few minutes, but they can completely change how the home looks and functions the next morning. Over time, routines like this help the home stay more manageable day to day, which is a big part of creating a slow and easy rhythm during the summer months. As we've seen throughout this series, slow living doesn't require major changes. Often, it's the small adjustments, a cleared surface, a more thoughtful layout, or a simple daily routine that help a home support the way we want to live. I hope these ideas have inspired you to create a lighter, more comfortable home this summer, and perhaps try a few simple changes of your own. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps support my channel and lets me know you'd like to see more content like this. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more decorating ideas, seasonal inspiration, modern farmhouse styling, and practical ways to create a beautiful home for everyday living. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.